Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Trenches with Gang Green. I'm your host, Bubbs. Today is Wednesday, December 4th. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far today. This is episode 439 of the In the Trenches with Gang Green podcast. I thank you, as always, for joining me. We have hit the middle of the week. We are another day closer to the end of this season, and we are also another day closer to the New York Jets Week 14 matchup against the Miami Dolphins down in Miami. Jets fans, only 5 games left of this miserable season until we can finally get to the offseason, find out who our general manager is, find out who our head coach is, and hopefully get this thing steered in the right direction for the first time in 14 seasons. And talking about the offseason, which unfortunately has become this team's regular season over the last 14 seasons, we're going to break down some Mike Vrabel rumors today. Rich Cimini on his Flight Deck podcast gave us some nuggets about a potential Mike Vrabel to the New York Jets. We'll talk about it today on the pod, though. As always, before we begin, we got to tell you about our podcast partners, starting with our friends over at BetUS. We're talking about the head coach today, but let's take a look at some general manager odds here for the New York Jets, courtesy of BetUS. Ray Agnew at plus 300, Ian Cunningham at plus 350, Mike Borgonzi plus 400, Ed Dodds plus 500, and Alec Halaby at plus 550. So if you want to bet on the next New York Jets general manager, get in on the action there. There are the odds. Use my link in the description of this video to get a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Also, our friends over at SeatGeek, you're looking to get out to any of the 2 remaining Jets home games for whatever reason, if you want to watch this team in person, or if you're an opposing fan that's coming to MetLife Stadium and want to get your hands on some Jet tickets or any ticket, not just football, not just sports, plays, concerts, shows, all that good stuff. And if it's your first time using SeatGeek, use my promo code BUBSONSports for $20 off your first purchase and get yourself out to some awesome events. Look for the green dots. Those are the good deals. Those are the tickets you want to purchase. And of course, Huga House, you want any of their awesome selection of hats, get your hands on some Huga House swag, and at checkout, use promo code BUBS for 15% off any purchase. Another day, another podcast. Going to be a little bit of a quick one here today because it's just one topic, but wanted to get to some news, wanted to get to a report from earlier this afternoon. We'll throw it up on the screen here. According to Rich Cimini on his Flight Deck podcast, Mike Vrabel has told people that he is open to the Jets head coach job if he approves of the general manager hire. Cimini adds that Vrabel doesn't care what Bill Belichick might think of Woody Johnson and would interview and decide on his own. So this is a pretty significant development. Now, this isn't Mike Vrabel coming out publicly and stating, I want to be the Jets head coach job, or publicly campaigning to be the next Jets head coach like we see Rex Ryan currently doing over the last couple weeks, whether it was on ESPN or Part of My Take or this entire media journey that he's going on right now, trying to become the next head coach of the New York Jets. But this is Rich Cimini saying, obviously reporter here, ESPN, on his podcast, spoke a lot about some other options that the New York Jets could potentially look at in terms of head coaching candidates once this season comes to a close, led by, of course, Mike Tannenbaum and Rick Spielman of the 33rd team. But this is positive news because myself and I think many others, Mike Vrabel's my top candidate. And I know the fan base is split. There's certainly a portion of this fan base that would like more of a, maybe a Brian Flores, a Cliff Kingsbury, guys like that, whether it may be John Gruden. There is certainly a portion of this fan base that, despite this team looking down the first-time coordinator route often here, 2 of the last 3 hires have been first-time defensive coordinators. There is still a portion of this fan base that would like to see maybe an Aaron Glenn come in here, or even a Ben Johnson, or somebody like that, a first-time coordinator, while it not be defensively with a Ben Johnson. Offensive mind, he's one of the hottest candidates. But I think there's also a portion of the fan base, of course, that wouldn't want a first-time guy. Either way, Mike Vrabel's my top choice. And I think you've got to feel good about this if you're a Jet fan, because according to these sources, the people close to him, he clearly doesn't care what Bill Belichick has to say. And that's always been one of the roadblocks to potentially getting Mike Vrabel was, he played for Belichick. That was one of the things that a lot of people get mixed up. Mike Vrabel does not come from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. Oftentimes people think Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel was an assistant for Belichick. That was not the case. He, of course, played for the Patriots from 2001 to 2008. He played under Belichick, and they have a close relationship. They've been very close even through Vrabel's entire coaching career, of course, that opened up in 2011 when he was at Ohio State up until now, of course, most recently with the Tennessee Titans, now kind of just a consultant for the Browns this season before he gets another coaching gig. So obviously he doesn't care about what Belichick has to say. And this could also be optimistic too, because maybe it shows that the whole outside view on the organization isn't as bad as maybe some of us fans make it out to be. Obviously, he doesn't care or doesn't seem to mind what's happening this season. If he gets an opportunity to interview and he gets a chance for this job and he likes the general manager hire, that is another big piece of this puzzle, is who the general manager is going to be. If Vrabel likes that guy and he agrees with that move, he's open to coming in here and trying to get this organization turned around. I mean, I don't see why people would not want Mike Vrabel here. I would love to have Mike Vrabel. He's my number one choice, and I think a lot of Jets fans would agree. He's a CEO-type coach. He's a proven guy. That's what I want. I want a proven guy that's coached before, has significant head coaching experience. I'm not talking about a first-time coordinator. Offense, defense, I don't care. This organization needs a proven guy at the top. At general manager, I believe that. And they also need a proven guy at head coach, especially head coach, because of the culture that's within this locker room right now. You can't have, and especially with this media, this market, we've seen it eat away at first-time coaches so many times. Vrabel brings a significant, successful NFL resume to the table from his 6 years with Tennessee. I think the first thing right off the bat is he made the playoffs in 4 of his 6 seasons with the Tennessee Titans, including 3 straight years, 2019, 2020, 2021. All of those, or rather 3 of his 6 years playoffs, all of those came 3 years in a row, and all of those also came with Ryan Tannehill. On top of the 3 of his 6 seasons making the playoffs, 4 of his 6 seasons saw the team get to at least 9 wins, finished above 500. Take a look at the Jets. They haven't had, forget a 9-win season, they just haven't had a winning season, heck, even a 500 season since 2015 when they went 10-6. That's 9 straight years. That's the 6th longest losing season drought in NFL history. Vrabel in Tennessee, 3 playoff appearances, 4 years of 9 wins, at least 9 wins. And he did it with quarterbacks, mainly Ryan Tannehill. His first season had Marcus Mariota. His last 2 years, Tannehill towards the end. Last year, or 2023, last year, obviously Levis got a lot of run. The quarterbacks, average quarterback play at best, is what Mike Vrabel was handed. And he took that and went 54-45 in the regular season. Got to a conference title game against the Chiefs in 2019. 2-3 overall in the postseason. His overall record, postseason, regular season combined, is 56-48, which is a .538 winning percentage, .545 winning percentage in the regular season. And like I said, the average to slightly above average quarterback play. He's also a guy that won Coach of the Year in 2021. I don't think there's much that needs to be said about Mike Vrabel. He brings instant culture. He's a CEO type hire. He's an guy that brings accountability. I think if you're a Jet fan, no, he didn't just get hired, but this at least from these reports, from what Rich Cimini is hearing, at least gives you optimism that he's open to this job. Because let's be honest, a lot of us fans, including myself, question if guys of Vrabel's level, that type of coach, would even want to come here, or if the Jets are going to be left with having to bring in one of these lower name, instead of settling for plan A or plan B, have to settle for plan C, D, F, E, whatever, right? Go all the way down the list. Or A, B, C, D, whatever, right? At least here with Vrabel, he's a proven guy. On top of that, you look at Vrabel's offensive coordinator hires. As much as, maybe some Jet fans want to say, oh, I want to get away from the defensive-minded coach, I can understand that, right? It's failed 2 of the last 3 times. This has been an offense that has not gotten caught up to the modern NFL game in forever. They have not had a good offense in a very, very long time. It's still very, very bad. So hiring a defensive coach, how would that help? Well, look, Vrabel's had success with his offensive coordinators. You look at 2 of his 3 offensive coordinators, both became head coaches. Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, very successful. Arthur Smith went to Atlanta. Yes, he got fired, but now he's right back with Pittsburgh as an offensive coordinator again. And then he did have Todd Downing, who's now, of course, with the Jets. Not his best, but still 2 of his 3 offensive coordinators. When's the last time we've seen the Jets have success with coordinators? Mike Vrabel's a guy. While he is a defensive-minded coach, and you want to say, I want an offensive mind, okay, but you also have to look at it. Vrabel, 2 of his 3 offensive coordinators he had in Tennessee went on to be head coaches. And the guy that got fired, well, he's back as an offensive coordinator with Pittsburgh, helping Russell Wilson have one of his better years that we've seen in a very, very long time. Russell Wilson has shown some vintage Russ moments here recently. That, of course, led by Arthur Smith. So that's kind of the overall view on Vrabel. Needs a really good OC, not doubting that 100%. But he's proven that he can find the right offensive coordinators, the right assistants. And the big question I always had was, would he want to come here? Well, this tweet right here, Mike Vrabel has told people that he is open to the Jets head coach job. So clearly he's interested. The Jets need a culture guy. They need accountability. They need a CEO type coach. After Kotite, they found Parcells. They need a guy like that. No, Vrabel's not Parcells, but they need a guy that's going to come in here, fix this culture, turn this thing, do a complete 180 with it, and get this team back on the right track. And not only just this year and next year, maybe the year after that, but for the future as well. You look at Parcells, not only did his culture impact the team during his 3 seasons, but it also had an impact after that. It set Herm Edwards up for some success. Mangini was able to make the playoffs, right? Rex Ryan had those 2 seasons. After Parcells left, you saw the Jets from 2000 to 2010 make the playoffs 6 times. You get the right guy in here that changes this culture and even sets it up for future coaches, you can maybe see that stretch again where this team has sustained success, where they're at least getting to the playoffs and at least competitive, at least having winning seasons, right? Not 6-11 or 7-10 or 5-11 back when they played 16 games, or 4-13. None of this 4-win, 5-win, 7-win nonsense, where you can actually win at least, 9 games in a season, get to 10, get to the playoffs, win playoff games. That's what this team needs. They need a kick in their rear end. Vrabel, in my opinion, brings that. So I think it's a positive report. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below on this report with Mike Vrabel. Now, Rich Cimini also in this talked about how Aaron Glenn seems like a guy that would definitely want to potentially come here, potentially be on board with coming here and Obviously, a former player, all-time Jet, of course. Great playing career while he was with this team. Could be an option. You know, Aaron Glenn was an awesome player. He's a great defensive coordinator. Again, do you want to go down the first-time coordinator route? I think that's kind of split amongst the fan base. I like Vrabel. I laid out the reasons why. And no, this isn't Mike Vrabel coming out and saying, oh, I want to be the coach. But he's told people close to him he wants to coach this team. Or he'd be interested in coaching this team. And that's the first big step. And you've also got to trust the 33rd team here way more than Woody Johnson and the rest of that terrible ownership to find the right people, get in contact with Vrabel, and hopefully get many fans top choice in this building and turn this thing around. So that's my thoughts on Vrabel. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We will be back tomorrow with a guest on to preview Jets Dolphins, so stay tuned for that. Of course, any other news that comes out, we'll be here talking about it all. Appreciate you all. Until next time, Jets, Jets, Jets.